Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Water Night 2022. What a pleasure to have the opportunity to spend some time with you this evening as we all share the Water Night project at home. 5 hours with the taps in a space where we become more conscious of water and its use. So we have a wonderful lineup of people to share with you and to open discussion with you equally across the next hour. So please feel free to use the chat as openly and as readily as you wish. I'll be sharing those chats on the screen and we'll be referring to your comments along with our special guests who will be speaking to us across the space of the evening. I'd like to start by acknowledging that we've got guests and visitors from all around the country. I'm here in Sydney, broadcasting from the Gadigal and Bidjigal lands of the Eora Nation, and I acknowledge elders past and present, and all of those working presently for the importance of caring for country and naturally caring for our water resources. First question will be, whereabouts are you coming from? What town? And of course, what country, what Indigenous country are you joining us from? We've got lots of people joining. We've got Raylene's come in from Yamba. Hello, Christy. Hello, Annie, all the way from the US. Celia's here in Sydney. Jason, Jake O'Hare, flooding seriously. Yeah, it sure is. And our thoughts are out with all of those people suffering from flooding at the moment. We've got Raylene is on Yagle country. The beard is popping from Pimpamar. Thanks, Alex. Ashfield in Sydney. Jeanette. Howdy Costa coming from Glossodia in the Hawkesbury. Wonderful. Geelong West. Look at this. Bellbird Park in Ipswich. Mudgee on Wiradjuri country. We've got people up in Serena. Yugambeh language region. Ange Oliver up there on the Goldie. Hi from Canberra. Ferntree Gully in Victoria. Wow, it's fantastic. Welcome to you all, and welcome to a great evening ahead. I'm really looking forward to it. And now I'd like to start by welcoming the team from the Water Conservancy. First up, we have Chris Philpott, and Chris is the CEO at the Water Conservancy, and there he is with two of his junior conservancy advocates. Welcome, Chris.
Well, thanks, Costa. Thanks. It's great to be here. My kids are just about to go to bed, but they're learning lots about water tonight and how to be more conscious of their use.
That's fantastic. Hi, you guys. How are you going?
Good.
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining in. It's lovely to have you with us. Now, I think you know who this is. Also from the Water Conservancy, Zoe and Darcy. Hello, Zoe. How are you?
We're good. We're very good down here in Hurstville, New South Wales. It's good to see everyone joining the call. This is my son, Darcy.
It's all about the next generation, helping our kids use water more consciously.
Some more people are coming.
Yeah. Exactly. Look at this. We've got, Annie's in North Carolina. We've got Karen's in Western Sydney. Michelle Parker's in Darwin, and Josie Cummings in Adelaide. So it's wonderful to have such a wonderful national representation, which is what it's all about. And our third member of the Water Conservancy team, how are you, Roxy?
I'm great.
Fabulous
I'm good,
team.
Are you well?
Yes, super good. Really excited.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, while we're speaking, we've even got Faya Caro joining us from Jandakot Wajak country in WA, and we've got Larrakia country up in Darwin. Hello from Greenland. Wow, and the Shoalhaven. So from Greenland to the Shoalhaven, it's fantastic. So many people. So to get started in terms of just give people, for those joining in the conversation tonight, tell us a little bit about how Water Night came about, Chris, and where the Water Conservancy was born.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, welcome everybody. Water Night comes from a piece of research that we did about 3 years ago that really showed that we all use water. We all really very much take water for granted, and we use it very much on autopilot. And we're just too busy going about our lives every day to actually give it a second thought. But we also know that we need to give it a second thought. Otherwise, we can't hope to value it and use it sensibly and more efficiently. And so we were like, well, how do we give people an experience where they might be able to, for just one evening, start to think about water, probably for the first time that they have done all year. And we were, first of all, we're going to, there were all sorts of ideas about getting encouraging the water utility to turn off the water for 5 hours, but then obviously the hospitals would suffer, and that would be really, really difficult to do. And then we thought we could encourage people to send in photos of their water meter to show they weren't using water. And anyway, in the end, we just decided that it's best just to get people to pledge to sign up to just go for 5 hours without using water. And it's been a huge success. It's grown from, leaps and bounds from year one to hopefully next year we'll move to New Zealand and across to the UK and America in years 4, 5, 6. It's my personal goal to grow it to be as big as Earth Hour. Really. So well, hopefully a lot of people that are on this live call have already signed up at waternight.com.au. If you haven't signed up, I'd say go to waternight.com.au and sign up now. You've still got just under 2 hours to participate. There's no reason why you can't sign up now and get involved.
And signing up, I think it's really important, just for everyone listening, if you haven't signed up, when you actually sign up, that builds the community collective and the visual momentum that is the data that then can be used by Chris and Zoe and Roxy and all the team, but also all of the water utilities can then use that to help build this awareness and use that as part of the next year's campaign. And that's really how something such as Earth Hour went. It started with a couple of towns, one or two big cities. And then that's the way these things, not just institutionally, but collectively and culturally, that's how they work. People see it, they go, okay, I'll join in. And getting more people signed up gives Chris and the team the leverage to get more support, to do more publicity, to build this. So, you don't be too afraid about, there's not a lot of data, but it is data that just helps validate, that data is incredibly valuable for how we can take this further forward, isn't it, Zoe?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. It does help to reaffirm all of the learnings that we've now seen that come from taking part in Water Night. So we've been able to see in the last 2 years that Water Night has the ability to lift water literacy by 24%, and it has the opportunity to lift knowledge in standard water using activities, everyday activities around the home considerably also. So we only get to test how good our Water Night is as an experience by the information that we receive. But I would have to reinforce, as much as we love your registrations and as much as it helps us also to demonstrate the excellence and the success of the program, taking part, even if you take part for an hour or 5 hours, and in previous years we've had some longer durations as well.
Yeah.
We went for 12 hours last year, I think 5 till 5. I mean, it was extraordinary. But the feedback had been that even in the first hour or so, you realised you were made, you realised for yourself how often you'd reach for the tap. And that's the ultimate goal of Water Night, is to make you consciously aware of how often you reach for it. It's not about saving water on the night. It's not about thinking about how much you use even. It's that simple concept of, did you realize you'd reach for it and you will see after a period of time, you'll probably have to put a tea towel over your taps or tape or a tap guardian like our kids have to stop you from touching it, because you realize you're addicted. You haven't even thought about it. You would have wiped a kid, you would have wiped a service, put a dishwasher on, boiled some pasta, cleaned, anything, fed a cat. A million things that you would have done as you come in, not to mention teeth, flushing, wheeze, the whole 9 yards. So it really is awesome to take part. And, obviously we'd love you to register, but even if you just took part for an hour tonight, you would see how valuable it is. And it's that water awareness that's the core skill that you're going to get out of the night.
Zoe, you nailed that, because that's really what we want, just to get people in step by step. And we have a wonderful example of this, and about to join us is Michelle, who's one of the Water Night families. So Michelle and team, welcome to tonight's Water Night broadcast. Tell us a little bit about the family and how you became connected to Water Night.
We're a large family, so we're always quite aware of, I guess, what we're spending and what we're using. And I think for us, tonight's been quite a challenge, not turning on the tap. I think we take it for granted quite a lot. Just little things in general, like, just washing babies' bottles and just little things that you would just quickly wash all the time. So I think for us, Water Night's something. I work at the Water Conservancy. I've been almost there for a couple of years now. So I was there when they first started. So that's how I've come across this. And it's a really good way to educate my younger generation, in particular these two, because I grew up in a time where, when I was a child, it was drought and we didn't have a lot of water. And I remember Australia was known as the sunburned country. So that's my experience. So I know how valuable water is as well. So that's a little bit about us. Sorry, we've got our youngest screaming right now. I don't know if you can hear that. Apologies in advance.
Oh, no. That's okay. That's okay. How are you finding it, Michelle? How's the Water Night experience going?
It's been, as I said, challenging. It's not easy. These guys are loving not having a bath and a shower tonight, so it's a big win. It's challenging for me because normally, I'd set the dishwasher on, so push that all back to start at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. But it's been challenging because little things that we just wash up, like I have a juicer I wash up because it doesn't go in the dishwasher. I can't wash up. It's been a lot more challenging than we thought. I think we all thought we would crush it, but we've actually gone, don't use the tap a few times. But in saying that, the kids are loving not having a bath. So highly recommend, as Zoe said, even if you do it for an hour, it's a really good education piece to make you more aware of how much you use water. And how much you rely on it, how much you have no idea. You are just mindless when you use it, I guess, if that makes sense.
Any other questions from you, Zoe or Roxy, of Michelle and the team?
There's a lot of kids there, Michelle, and you've got pets, and you've got a full house, and a husband and horse floating around in the background there. I would suggest that, when did you find during your night that it's been the most hectic trying to keep away from the taps? When the kids came home?
Yeah, when we all got home, it was like a mad rush to get everything done before 5 o'clock. So then as 5 o'clock kicked in, we were like, we haven't accomplished what we needed to. It's just going to wait. So I think just getting home and the sports and stuff that happen and all the extracurricular activities, I think that's been a bit of a learning, that we just come home and all systems go. So we just had to stop.
Well, you're doing an amazing job. I mean, I've already almost touched the taps 5 times, and it's just me. And you have all those kids. So you're doing an amazing job, Michelle.
It's hard, hey? It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
And how do you guys feel when suddenly your usual habit of going to the tap, you have to stop? What do you think about that? What did it make you feel?
It makes us feel like a bit challenged because when Mum does like the whole like yelling like art thing, it kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Like if I go like how she say go to touch a tap, she like literally run over to me and like switch it off like really, really quickly. And it is a bit challenging not using as much water as we would in the house.
Yeah. Sorry. What's your brother's name there?
Josh.
Josh. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Josh?
It is just practically what Maddie said. Every single time I walk to the tap, Mum's just speeding downstairs.
Mum's like a little secret spy. She just pops out of nowhere, just turn off the tap.
Yeah. And has it made you realise sort of how many times you do go to the tap?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, job done there, Michelle. It
Yeah.
sounds like you've completely water nighted your kids, which is awesome.
Yeah, well done.
That's the goal. If they
I sound like a mean mum now, so
And you've achieved the reason behind water night in less than
you've
3
done it.
hours.
You've done it, and you've still got a couple of hours to go.
Yeah.
yep.
Awesome work, Michelle.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for joining in and sharing your very specific, but the kind of perspective that many families would be grappling with every night of the week, as you do. And wonderful that you could join us and expose those day-to-day family realities to tonight's discussion.
Our pleasure. Thank you for having us. It's definitely been a learning, and I think it's a lot harder than everyone would give it credit for. I think people are like, oh, it's easy. I don't have to use water. Oh, no, it's actually quite challenging. And I myself has turned the tap on and gone, ugh. So my sink looks like a dump, but that's okay. It's all good. We can recover tomorrow.
That's it. If you are even slightly OCD like me, it does drive you back, but it's, we can cope with it for a night.
That's right.
Oh, well, thank you, Michelle, and to all of you there today. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks, heaps. Thanks for having us. Bye.
See ya.
What a beautiful family.
Yeah. They must be very
isn't that
busy in
great?
their household.
So many children. Wow, she's doing great.
Can't imagine.
I just wanted very quickly, Costa, sorry. Darcy just quickly wanted to say something before he goes to bed. How this is going to go.
Darcy, talk to us.
So Darcy's been using some of the materials that are available online, and he's been learning about, what have you been learning about here?
The movement of water. So it would start, I would say here.
Yeah.
And then it went down, and it went all the way
down to the house, doesn't it? But it goes through a lot of things. So he's been doing this, and he's also done an awesome job with the water cycle, haven't you? Which you've been learning about. So he's done a really good job. Why is water important, Darcy?
It's important.
Why do you think it's important to you?
I think it's important because it's very good and it keeps things alive. That includes everything, and it even includes cats, even humans. Well, if we use it too much, we might. Well, imagine if we one day ran out. Ooh, that would be a problem.
It would be a problem. Well, thanks, Darcy, for your thoughts. Costa, see, youth already thinking about it.
Yeah,
you've taught him well,
that's fantastic.
What a cutie! Good work,
Love
Darcy.
Lovely.
Good work, Darcy.
It's so good to see the young faces here on the broadcast and giving them not just a space here, but airtime here. So thanks for sharing that, Zoe. Along with that, we've got comments coming up left, right, and centre. Jeannie Napier has an empty bucket in the shower. Liesel's talked about.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hang on, no, that's not one. I'll move that one right along. So now we're going to move on to our next speaker, and this is all the way from the NT, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to have a mixture of guests, and Carl Raymond is from Power and Water NT, and I'd like to welcome. Where is he? Here, I'll just bring him into Kale. Kale, welcome.
Hey, Kale.
Oh, it's so sunny there still. Wow.
We're a little bit
Isn't
wet
that nice?
over here. The sun is just setting. We're in the desert here.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful time. I'm here with my wife, Krista, by the way.
Hi, Krista.
Hey.
Hello,
We've got-
Krista.
This
Lovely
is
to
usually-
have you here.
What's that?
So, Kale, tell us a little bit about your role, what you're doing in terms of Water NT and remote communities, and how that fits into the Water Night strategy.
Yeah, thanks, Costa. So I work for Power and Water Corporation. That's the government-owned water utility. It covers all of the Northern Territory. So it covers Alice Springs, where I am. It's Darwin. It's all the towns and cities up and down the Stuart Highway, but also 72 remote communities all around the Northern Territory. So there are small communities maybe in the desert or in the tropics or on islands or anywhere in between. But regardless, water is precious, and a lot of people in the Northern Territory haven't heard messages about why it's important to save water. And Water Night is a great way. Hello, Grace.
Hello, Grace.
Here they come. They're wondering why they can't have a bath tonight. So we're learning. So I spent a bit of time in schools around the Northern Territory. This week I've been in Yuendamu and Yuelamu, a couple of the communities about 300 kilometres northwest of Alice Springs in the desert. They've got some problems with how much water they have available. They're a water stressed community, and so we teach all about where the water comes from. A lot of people don't know that, how much water might be left, and also why it's important to look after it. So there's a school education program. So I'm wearing this shirt. I wanted to flash this on the screen.
That's it. Yeah.
So that's my water.
That's an awesome initiative, Kale. It's really, really powerful stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's all about teaching people about where the water comes from. So it's coming from their home, it's coming from their country, and but also they take ownership of where the water comes from, but also they can take ownership of their water use actions. And I think Water Night is a great way to just remind us that we, every time we touch a tap, every time we flush a toilet, or every time we don't do anything about, say, a water leak, that's us probably making a decision to use water, or to maybe make a water choice that isn't a good one. So it's all about learning about what's a good water choice, and how all of our little individual actions can make a really big difference.
It's super cool, and you can see that online, can't you, Cal? You can access some of the activities if people wanted to see it.
Yeah, you don't have to live in the NT to get to benefit from the That's My Water program. We were really fortunate. I got to hang out with Baker Boy. We made a series of videos. So there's some short videos. You can just look up That's My Water Bush Schools, or just That's My Water. You can just search that online, and it's all on the Power and Water website. But you can watch the videos that we filmed with some Aboriginal elders around the Northern Territory. They share a little bit about their cultural water story. That's a really important part of the story, that water has been precious to people for thousands of years, no matter where we are. And there's a lot of knowledge that that has been passed down through the generations. So we're trying to connect the present generation, the future, the current generation of leaders, to this water knowledge that is just being passed down from generation to generation. So we're trying to connect that And you can learn about some of that in some of the in the That's My Water video, all about water is our culture. There's a video about water is our community, and water is our community is all about today's contemporary water stories. So the way that people used to find water in the old days, all around the Northern Territory and the rest of Australia, all around the world, is someone used to find it, and then we'd decide let's live around this place. But it was really important that people were responsible for looking after that, and that often meant they would protect it. They'd try to keep it clean. They'd stop people from abusing it, maybe taking too much or making it unclean, or making sure that we can capture more of it, so we can make that a really sacred place for looking after water and looking after stories. And there's so many other things that flow on from a healthy water supply in any civilization, any environment.
So brilliant. That's so wouldn't it be amazing if we could take that traditional way of using water in Australia and bring that acknowledgement and consciousness into our own homes when it came to our water use. The way that the Indigenous people have been using water for thousands of years. If we could do that in our own homes, just from valuing it more and being more conscious of it, wouldn't that just be fabulous? We're so pleased to have the support of Power and Water backing Water Night this year. Thank you once again. I think it's the third year running that you guys have supported it, which is absolutely fabulous. And also thank you for the great footage you provided for our manifesto video for the campaign. Anyone who hasn't seen it that's on the call, you might want to go to waternight.com for the year and have a look at the fabulous video that we've got on there. It's only 1 minute long, but it's beautiful. It's been put together beautifully. So yeah, thanks to Power and Water for providing some of the footage for that.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Roxy. Yeah, this is a great thing to be a part of, and my family, they're excited about it too, and I'm looking forward to doing this every year.
Yay!
Great.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us from up there. It's wonderful to see the light fading. We're sort of in the dark down here, but and wonderful, really wonderful to hear the story, but also the leadership. And the Indigenous leadership that you're embedding in the process up there, which to hear that level of engagement and working together is really uplifting for the future, as you said.
Yeah, thanks very much, Costa. Yeah, a lot of people are really interested in sharing their local water story, and if you might just have to ask the right questions and ask the right people, and we can definitely learn a lot.
Oh, fantastic! Well, enjoy your sunset, and
I'm enjoying this sunset.
Yeah. There's everyone's enjoying it, as you can see in the comments that are coming through. Thanks again for joining us with the whole family, Kale, and we'll keep waving the water night flag for the rest of the evening.
It was cool, Costa, that he went. Oh, sorry, Rox, go on.
Oh, no, I was just saying bye.
Oh, how are you leaving?
Just a quick thing there, Costa. Kale touched on a really good thing about water stories, and obviously this year's Water Night, National Water Week theme is all about water stories, which is sort of tied together really nicely with Water Night this year. So the whole water conversation has been about people's experiences and how they value water, their experiences with it, with all that be swimming in it, drinking it, or cooking with it. And then I just think it was really nice that he brought that up too, because it definitely has been a very strong message this year. There's been a really nice thread into sustainability as well, which I think has been a really cool move.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move along. So from up in the NT, we are getting in the TARDIS, the Water Conservancy TARDIS, the Water Night TARDIS. Can you put your seatbelts on, please? Strap in over the top. Darcy, put your seatbelt on, buddy, because we are flying rapidly to Tasmania, where we're going to catch up with Emily Hollister from Taswater. Here she is. Emily, welcome.
Hi guys.
Hi, Emily.
Hello. It's interesting you
Hi.
talk about hopping in the TARDIS for big Doctor Who fans here in this family.
Cool.
So you're speaking my language, Costa.
Oh, hang on. I just there you go. Oh, thank you. No, that's great. We there was a very quick TARDIS from Darwin down to Tassie. Give us a little bit about. Tell us about Taswater and their involvement with Water Night and what you're up to in this project.
Yeah, well, Taswater's been a supporter of Water Night for how long it's been going. So, and we're really excited to once again be part of it and encouraging Tasmanians to participate in Water Night and hopefully grow it so that we can grow awareness and people's consciousness of how much water they use. That's the biggest thing. And of course, this year we've got Bob Goldfish. He's our official spokesfish for Taswater. So, and he's very excited about Water Night as well. So he's participating and encouraging people on social media to participate in Water Night also. So yeah, Bob's a great addition for us to to help spread the his campaign is called Let's Love Our Water. So he's really spreading the message of loving our water, which is goes hand in hand really, or hand in fin with Water Night. So yeah,
It does.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
How have you found the community response to the Bob Goldfish?
It's growing. It's only a fairly new campaign. We're still very much in the early days of having Tasmanians become more familiar with Bob, but it's growing, and he's engaging on social media, and he's been on TV and he's on billboards, so he's getting out and about. He's very busy. We make him earn his keep. So yeah, we're getting some good positive feedback on what he's saying. So yeah, he's
Right.
The Let's Love Our Water campaign is sort of it's a rolling campaign, so we're pretty much in market all year round, and his messages change slightly depending on the time of year, but for the most part, it's all about water awareness and being conscious about how much water you use. Yeah,
I love that. That's so on point with what we're doing at Water Night too. So it's just such good synergy. I personally love Bob. I love seeing the social media posts from him.
You're not on your own. We love Bob too. Yeah.
It's great the way social media makes a state kind of like a regional campaign like you're running. So it makes it national, makes it global because your reach is so big. It's through social media. It's incredible, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it's nice. Like Bob has a very he just prompts. He doesn't lecture or and it's very much like Water Night. It's prompting people to just be aware and just think about how much water you use. So yeah, it's good.
And that narrative, I think it's nice to see different narratives taken up by different parts of the country too, which then other water organisations can take that up or borrow it or build on it or see what suits, because it's not a one size fits all, and if it does fit, then you're doing groundbreaking work for others to be able to take that little character and use it. And when you think about the story that say Kale's using up there in the Northern Territory, it's great. It's great to appreciate the differences that Water Night's starting to embed in an open program that's still driving towards a common goal.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. I mean, these messages, they're global messages, really, aren't they? It's just depending on the time of year or where you're at. So there's always something that we can use and learnings we can take from other organisations to further the cause.
Ange says here that she's saving water by only washing one hand. because the other one's in a cast due to an incident between knife and avocado. So the old one-handed wash, Ange. That's
a new one for me. I've never heard that water-saving tip before.
Yeah. We'll have to have an avocado character who's getting everyone in a cast to save
like
water.
A villain, nasty villain.
Yeah, the villain, as opposed to Bob, the goodie. The Avo will be down there swimming in the tank, trying to squash Bob at the bottom of the pond.
Oh, we don't want that. Poor Bob.
Emily, you've also been doing some stuff internally, right, as well, sort of walking the talk, Taswater, been talking to your staff and engaging with the staff first and foremost before you're out there chatting to your customers. So that's really good to see.
Yeah, very much so. There's a big push, internally to have our staff participating in Water Night. And I'm pretty sure I don't know what the numbers are, but we've had more uptake this year than last year, so it's growing, which is a great thing. So we try to walk the walk as much as we can, as much as
Brilliant.
we talk the talk.
Good for you.
Yeah but this is fantastic. I loved it. This is my first experience with Water Night. I've never done it before personally, so it's been challenging, like everybody's been saying to you tonight. I had to put sticky notes on the taps. Don't touch the taps, because you forget. You don't even think about it. It's just an unconscious thing. So it's really.
And how many times have you tried to turn them on, Emily?
I've gone up there a few times.
You won't tell anyone.
Yeah, not anyone, promise.
Yeah. No, I've walked up to it a couple of times and seen the sticker. I've seen the sticky note. I was
nice.
A bit of forethought about that. So and a sticky note on the fridge. Didn't even think about that. Our fridge is plumbed in, so sticky note on the fridge as well. There's a handy tip.
Yeah.
Water filters as well has been something before that people hadn't thought of. Interesting.
Yeah. It's been a challenging thing. So it's been a good thing, just to really just raise your awareness and make you think about it and make conscious decision as opposed to just unconsciously switching on the tap. So and that's a lot of what Bob talks about as well. Just gently reminding people that Bob's in a goldfish bowl, and his bowl is obviously like a metaphor for the amount of water that we have on the planet. So that's finite. We've only got so much water, and that's one of the things that Bob quite often says. Remember, we only have so much water in our bowl, so we have to look after it. We have to love it. So
well,
that's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for staking the Tasmanian flag in this process. That's wonderful. I really like the Bob project. I think it's a real engagement builder, particularly in children and for families. And families are where we know so much takes place during the evening. So it makes for a good engagement factor with the Water Night project.
Yeah, he's a bit of fun. We're having fun with Bob at the moment. So.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us, and we're going to go. We're going to go to our. We've got a little interlude here. We're busting. We're just going to dive across straight back to Melbourne, where Kirsty Bishop Fox is going to join us and give us a little bit of a demonstration, just to get everyone engaged. So, Kirsty, here she is. Before we catch up with Rob and Kiralee, our final two speakers who are waiting patiently. Thanks, team. Kirsty, tell us a little bit about what you do and the little demonstration you're going to show us tonight.
Okay, I do a lot of different things, but environmental education is the main thing. But what I do and where this ties into is to home energy audits. And the home energy audit is really looking at the power that people use in their homes. But how it ties into water is that when you actually use your shower, the energy coming in to heat the water for your shower is a part of that. So we look at water flow in the shower, so that way we can look to ways to reduce energy use and of course water use at the same time. So I'm actually in my bathroom. I never ever thought I'd be doing a live in my bathroom and jumping into the shower. But hey, why not? So I'm here to show you how you can do a simple little test on your shower. So that way you can see if you're using a little bit of water or a huge amount of water. And it might be interesting actually, if people pop into the chat, if they actually know how much the water flow per minute going through their shower. If they've ever done the test, it'd be interesting to know that, or maybe even what you think it ought to be. You can read those out as you come through. Now, what I'm going to do here, if you've got a bucket like this at home, or any bucket, it doesn't have to be red, it can be whatever colour, this is the way to do it. I'm going to use this particular container here tonight, just so that way, this is what I would use for an audit, and it's the lines are clearly marked, so we can actually see the amount of water that's coming through here. That says 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see it there. So to make it easy for us and to not waste too much water, typically what we aim to do is to run the water in here for 15 seconds, and then also multiply that out by 4 to get 60 seconds or a minute. If you have a particularly high water flow, in 15 seconds this will overflow. So I would suggest maybe doing it for 6 seconds and then multiplying it by 10, because I like really easy math. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this red bucket here to catch the overflow, so nothing will go down the drain tonight. And as I get started, I'll get costed a time that I can.
Yeah, hang on a sec. I'll get the stopwatch ready. You
Yeah,
tell
ready.
me when.
Yeah,
You tell me when, and I'll push play.
Excellent. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to turn the water speed on full. Now that might not mean your taps go on full, because if you turn your tap to a certain point, the water's going as fast as it is, and you keep turning and turning and turning, so you don't need to turn it on completely full, just the fastest speed. I've got the hot and the cold separate in my shower. If you've got one of those mixer taps with the hot and cold go just the one tap, then just put it in the middle and pull it out full, and that'll do the trick.
I've got the stopwatch here, so you tell me when, and I'll hit start.
Okay. I've just got this bucket here collecting it. I'm going to put the hot on first. Full.
Did you start?
No.
Oh, hang on. I'll clear that. Reset. All right. This is.
You tell me go.
Well, I'll count you in. 3, 2, 1, go. Five. 10. 15. Oh, that's it.
All right, just turn your taps off. I don't want to waste the water doing this. All right, that's completely off. So in here, I've got, that's 1 litre. That's 1.5 litres. So I've got 1.5 litres in this bucket here. If I multiply that by 4, I've got 6 litres per minute going through that shower, which is pretty good.
That's pretty good, all right.
It is pretty good. So what we recommend is for a home energy audit is 8 to 10. 9's about ideal. Typically, amazing shower rose, it's perfect. You might leave it at that. But 20 litres per minute, which is a huge amount of water going through. It's increasing your water bill, increasing your energy bill, and it's just not necessary.
Well, any questions from Kirsty team before we let her get out of her bathroom?
Nice little home test you can all do, I suppose, at home and check out your water flow of your shower.
Yeah, and I should say, what I did bring in, I didn't need it because this is measured, but if this wasn't measured, then I would just get like a kitchen jug and measure it, so I knew what it is. So it wouldn't be guesswork. So that's what you probably do at home if you don't have a bucket like that. And then if the water flow is too fast, what you should do is look into getting a shower head. So you can get them from like hardware stores or eco-mast. There's a whole lot of different places you can look into. Look at them, they're not created equal. And for those in Victoria, you've actually got a bit of a bonus, because as part of the VEU scheme or the Victorian Energy Upgrade Scheme, you can get a heavily discounted or even free water saver shower part. So you may as well make the most of that. When I get off, I might pop it into the chat so people can actually see where they can get that from. Unfortunately, it's just Victoria only. That's just a state government initiative that we have.
No,
Kirsty, but everyone nationally can look for a really good fitting from Wells from the well scheme, right? You could look and have a look at your 4 or 5-star shower fittings.
Oh, excellent. The well scheme, I'm not aware of that. So that's a good one to know about too.
Cool. Yeah,
Thanks.
that's awesome.
Thanks, Zoe, and Kirsty. Thank you for joining us to do that little demo and being part of it and sharing the Water Night perspective from down in Victoria. We appreciate you being a part of tonight.
No worries. Glad I could join.
Thanks so much.
Kirsty.
Awesome. Thanks, Kirsty.
All right. Well, from a shower demo, we're going to move now to Kiralee from Rouse Council. Here she is here, Kiralee Donovan. I'll just bring her in. Kiralee, welcome.
Oh, lucky for you guys, I'm not dialing in from my shower as well. Kirsty, that was very brave of you.
she's totally committed to the cause is Kirsty.
Absolutely.
Kiralee, bring us up to speed with Rouse Council and your involvement with Water Night and all things water efficiency.
Sure. Well, here in the Rouse County Council region, I'm dialing in from Bundjalung Country in northeastern New South Wales. We've had, like many people across the state and further afield, even in more recent days and weeks, experienced floods earlier in the year. But the message we're trying to get across with the help of organisations like the Water Conservancy is that water conservation and being mindful of our water consumption is important at any time. Obviously, with climate change and changes in that space, I mean, it's quite the fact that it's raining at the moment, that doesn't make a difference to how mindful we should be of a resource that we utilise every day, and it comes through our taps. As we say tonight, we often use water without even thinking. And there's no time like the present to start improving how we use water and being more mindful of our water habits. I think this is the 3rd year that Rouse has actually been involved in the Water Night Challenge. So hopefully we're improving our participation year on year.
You've been doing a great job because you've also been doing the tree planting initiative, right?
Yeah, so we kicked that off last year for Water Night, and the premise with that initiative and the incentive is for every registration across our water supply footprint here in northern New South Wales, we plant 10 trees in our water supply catchment area to improve water quality. As I say, the idea behind that was to really draw attention to the fact that when we turn on our taps, often in an environment that's quite sterile, you think of bathrooms and kitchens and inside your home, you often don't make the connection, or it's not easy to make the connection that water has come from a natural environment. And that's the connection we're trying to draw with the tree planting initiative.
I love that.
That's brilliant.
So important. Yeah. So
love it.
Hopefully,
absolutely. And then we can kick off conversations around not only how we use water, how we save it, and water quantity issues, but also water quality issues within the catchment as well. Because something that I have become increasingly aware of in my role at Rouse is, and I actually had a good interview about it earlier this week for Water Night on our local radio station, trying to draw the difference between the water that comes out of our tap and the water that falls out of the sky. That the water that comes out of our taps has gone through a massive process to get to our homes. It's treated, it's delivered and transported to us to use, and there's a huge amount of energy that goes into that process. So not only during Water Night, we're not only saving water or being conscious of how we use water, but I think also ideally being conscious of reducing that environmental footprint that we have by using water.
Yeah, and your comment, Kiralee, really kind of adds value and reflects on the kind of the whole theme that we've got attached to Water Night this year. And behind the campaign, Water Its Life in Every Drop, which has that big sustainability and climate change angle. So absolutely everything you've said around energy use and treating and pumping and tree planting as well, and all of that is absolutely fabulous and so strongly linked to the theme of Water Night. So yeah, really value your support and contribution and your comments.
I'm really excited this year to see if we beat our record from last year. So last year, following Water Night, we planted 1,700 trees. I'm really excited to see what the results are following this evening. But I have to say, we're sort of at the back end of Water Night. Now it's close to 9 o'clock. And I have to say, even before this phone call, it's a lot more challenging than what you think it is.
Yeah.
I went to the bathroom before this phone call, and for the entire time I was thinking, it's fine, I can easily not flush the toilet. But then I was thinking so hard about not doing that I accidentally turned on the tap.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And I think Emily from Taswater was saying that she was using the Tap Guardians or had little stickers everywhere. And I personally myself thought that I could do it alone. I thought, no, it's an easy challenge. I should be able to do it. I'm aware of what I'm doing. At least I thought I was aware. But it has happened once, if not on, another occasion, where I've just completely absent-mindedly turned on the tap and then realized after the fact.
Love your honesty. It's fantastic.
It's very hard.
It is hard. I found it hard myself too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A couple of occasions tonight.
It's good, isn't it? Because
it's a good feeling.
That's the essence of, that's really and even from you working in it and literally having your mind in it as your enterprise, as your profession, and yet something that requires behavior change can nudge you unexpectedly, so forcibly, that you literally still busted through the wall and broke the contract.
Oh, totally. Well, we actually have at the start of each Water Night, and I started this last year just for these occasions, to kick off the night, I do have next to the water jugs we have pre-filled for drinking for the evening. I've started, it's a paper tally. I call it the tap tally. And if anyone breaks the contract, then you've got to put it on the tap tally. So at least then we know, and we know the reason why, and you can show other people or demonstrate just how difficult it actually is.
It's like the swear jar sort of thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but you don't get the financial benefit that the swear jar brings.
Exactly.
The other thing that I think I'd just like to mention with Water Night, that I think there's a fantastic opportunity to look at things like leakage within the home, particularly in times like this when we're not using any water. And I myself, personally, I grew up in a rural area, so we were entirely on tank water. But in my adult years, I've moved just outside of Lismore in northeast New South Wales, and I live in a suburban area now, and we have a water meter. And I'm going to be honest, because prior to starting this job with Rouse County Council and working in the water space, I had previously not been aware of water meters or how valuable they can be in telling us how much water we consume in the house, but then also letting us know if we have any leaks. I've just never had a water meter prior to this point in my life, so it hasn't been something I've thought about. But during Water Night, checking your water meter and becoming familiar with it, letting it tell you, I mean, if you look at it now on a night that you're not using water, and I did it before the sun went down this evening, to make sure that the dials on your water meter aren't continuously ticking over when you're not using any water. It is a positive sign that you don't have a leak, but if you're experiencing that and you're seeing the dials continuously tick over when there's no fixtures or fittings using water in your home, then it's possible that you could have a leak. And no one wants to be wasting water. So it's a perfect opportunity to be looking at things like that as well.
Yeah,
that's great advice.
Yeah,
definitely.
Love that.
Definitely.
That's such a good tip just for people to become more aware and take that extra step to be more water efficient. So yeah, you're doing great.
Well, it sort of follows on from Kirsty's measuring of the shower. You can use your water meter quite easily by taking a read of it, say in the morning, and then reading it at the same time the next morning, and then you can establish how much water your home is actually using in a 24-hour period. For us, we are a 3-person home, so if I divide that amount by 3 people, I get an idea of the consumption per person per day of our household. And here in the Northern Rivers, we're striving to for people to meet a target of 160 litres per person per day. So if you have that information and you can look at your own water consumption, then it gives you a bit of a benchmark or something to aim to in terms of what you might be able to do differently in the home to get to that 160 litres per person per day target.
Yeah, it's a good target.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
We found with Water Night that even the most water efficient people, Kiralee, if it makes you feel better, even those that have, and I've seen that there's lots of comments here tonight about those people who've got rainwater tanks, who are using water efficient appliances, who are grey watering out to their garden or using it in their laundry, all of the loads and loads of really great tips coming up there, Costa, that are awesome. What we'd found from some of our research after Water Night was even those people that had put all of those things into place and were very aware of their water usage still didn't realise how unconsciously they reached for it. So they may, when they were using it, be mindful of the amount they're using, but the fact that they had reached for it 16 times a day was completely off the radar. So you're not alone.
That's it. I find that actually when you do the pre-surveys for the event, last year I thought I had to think about it, and I thought next year I'll be far better with knowing how often I reach for the tap. And then it came around this year and I was still uncertain. It's an interesting concept that not many people think about, including myself in day-to-day life. So it's good to bring people's awareness to it.
Okay.
Well, Kiralee, thank you for bringing the Northern Rivers perspective and actions that are being taken by your community to this year's Water Night. We really appreciate your contribution.
Excellent. It was so good to talk to you, and thank you so much to the Water Conservancy for running this event yet again, and I hope we perform better than last year. I'm sure we
you
will.
have, and thanks for your support.
Thanks, Kiralee. You've been amazing.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Have a nice evening.
You too.
Yeah, you too.
Enjoy the rest of the challenge.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, team. We're down to the very patient Mid-Coast Council, where Rob Scott, he's been quietly sitting there in the green room listening in, and it's a treat. It's a treat to bring Rob in here. Rob, big welcome, and thank you for being the last but definitely not least member of tonight. We're going to go just a little bit over 1 hour, but the conversation has been rich and real. And Rob, you can kind of round things off. Tell us a little bit about Mid-Coast Council and your role up there with the initiatives that are going on.
First of all, I will say I've actually got a really good trick, and I reckon you guys are all wise to how to avoid turning on the tap for Water Night, and that is attending the whole of the event and listening to everything that's been said. Not only has it been great discussion and a really good opportunity for people to reflect, but it's kept me away from every tap in the house.
Exactly.
I didn't fall into Kiralee's problem earlier, so I managed to keep away from the bathroom as well. And I am getting down on the glass of water, so I'm just going to have to make sure I ration that out and get it out. But it's very handy. On the Mid-Coast, we've got about 40,000 residents, and for us, it's really important this year because we're launching our water strategic plan, which we call Our Water, Our Future, and that's our vision for the water supply system into 2050. just 3 years ago, this time 3 years ago, we were facing the driest conditions ever recorded in the history of the records in the Manning Valley area. We had very low water levels. We actually had no flow in our river system, and we're a run-of-river system water supply for 86 days. So 86 days, zero flow in the river, massive impact on our agricultural community, people trucking water everywhere. This was just after about 3,500 square kilometres got burnt in those disastrous bushfires we had. And this year we find ourselves 3 years later, we're millimetres, literally millimetres away from the largest ever total annual rainfall we've recorded again in records. So what a significant change. But it's either extreme shows us how important it is that we plan and build a sustainable water into the future, taking into account climate change, taking into account our pledge to be emissions neutral by 2040. And as we talked about earlier, water and sewer are massive users of power, which creates emissions. We just signed up our small sites to go to 100% renewable energy from the 1st of January, which is like an 11% jump in our emissions straight away. But the real big thing for us is looking at that future water usage. During the drought, we had 40 to 50 days of water left, which for a population of 70-odd thousand people, that could be pretty scary. We did have a plan in place, and we were working on maximising our ability to produce water and minimising our usage down to as low as we could possibly go. And if the two of those were equal, then we were right. And it felt like we had 40 or 50 days of water for about 2 months, because every time we had an issue, we managed to squeeze a bit more water out of our system. But the idea is to better plan, better prepare, and to work our way through that into the future so that we do build sustainable infrastructure that meets the community's needs, that's affordable, that targets everything. And in doing that, we've got all options on the table. So we're looking at a new storage dam. We're looking at the opportunities for reuse. We're looking to be efficient and make sure that we don't waste any of the drop, because we put an amazing amount of effort into it for the water to go out into our system. So for us, it's a big night. Our entire executive group in the organisation has signed up, and I'll be interested to compare some notes with how many times they turned on the tap inadvertently when we meet tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. I'd love you to share that with us, Robert.
Awesome.
I'd be really intrigued to
I can bet that they've done it a few times for sure. I've got money on it.
Yeah.
Money on it.
Absolutely. But I guess that's the whole point, is just to realize how valuable our water really is. And as you said, a few years ago it was fire and drought, and now it's flooding. But, trying to especially get the younger generations to have that behavior change and that awareness and drive that education, I think is so important. And what you guys are doing at Midcoast as well sounds incredible and really aligned with what we're doing. So, yeah.
I think our team put a lot of effort into treating water during the last flood. We had water that looked a bit like a bowl of Cocoa Pops that had been sitting
Oh my God.
It was putrid. It was 500 NTU, which is a scientific measure for the dirtiness of water. Trust me, it's bad. The human eye can see 5 NTU, and our operators were a little bit worried because for a little while there, the result went up to 0.21 NTU, which is 0.01 above our target level. It's not even above anywhere where you can see, and our operators were concerned about that. And what we celebrated out of that was the ability and their commitment towards the work to get the water safely from the river, which was in flood at this level of turbidity, down to virtually non-existent, virtually back to this, and no one noticed the difference of it. And I think that's what makes people in the water industry, sets them so passionate about what they're doing, because they see the value to the communities, and it's like we're protecting the community. We're the last guard between them and waterborne disease, and it's about thinking a bit more about than just turning on the tap, because most people just turn on the tap, don't think about it. Like, where else do you get water, a product delivered on demand, under pressure, good quality, drinkable, directly to your house, to several outlets in your house, mind you. For in a lot of cases, it's only a couple of dollars a kilolitre for 1,000 litres. Like, my God, it costs you $2.
Yeah, we should all be a bit more grateful, shouldn't we? A bit more grateful and a bit more acknowledging it, and more conscious for sure.
we're so lucky in Australia to have
Yeah,
this
yeah.
level of quality for our drinking water. And I guess, again, going back to what Water Night is about, is getting people to really value our tap water and how often we use it and how beautiful and clean it is. And yeah, very lucky.
It is amazing indeed that I've recently been aware of the fact that the supply of water is considered an essential service, much the same as police and ambulances and SES and all of the above. And you realise how very obvious that is, that it is critical to our indeed our existence. So it is very much an essential service, and it is a product that is delivered to you without marketing. No one ever sells you no one sells you water. No one reminds you of how fabulous it is, or how great it tastes, or what level of treatment it's been given to ensure that you're healthy. So again, there are some thoughts there. Maybe if there was an enormous water campaign that put into the hearts and minds of all Australians just how lucky we are, and that it's brought to you just as fabulously as any other fantastic, soft drink or anything else that you would have got.
In a lot of cases, we actually spend a bit of effort in trying to convince people to use less of our products. It's probably the only utility service that actually invests in that, and there's a really good reason for that. And that's because when we're sizing our infrastructure, it goes on the average of water usage around there. So if we can actually get people to use less water, then we don't need the same size infrastructure. And what that translates to is putting an upper limit on some of the costs. And we all know that the cost of living are rising. And part of the challenge for our communities is actually about achieving the right balance between security and infrastructure sizes versus cost. And I always say I'm an engineer, we can build anything. We love building stuff. But what we also want to see is an affordable solution that doesn't send people to the edge having to pay for that service. It is an essential service, as you mentioned. And everyone requires water. You can't go without water. In our drought, even in the middle of the worst drought, we still opened up our water supply system to all the rural unconnected customers, because when the rivers and the creek dry up, where can they go? And we weren't going to be in a situation where any animal or human could go without water. So we even put in free water filling points for some of our rural users, just so that they could fill up a small container or IBC, just so that they had enough water to get through, because a lot of them they're in remote areas, they can't get trucks in to fill rainwater tanks. So it was a real experience, for a real eye-opener, and we learn a lot that we will take into our future strategic planning as well, and that just makes our whole community more resilient going forward.
We've spoken about ensuring that water efficiency and better use of water is something that's all year round and always on. You wouldn't buy any other product and not have how to get the best out of your product information supplied to you, instructions on the box, a leaflet inside, shampoos, lawnmowers, whatever. Everything would say you'll get the best out of this product if you do X and Y. And the best out of water, and the best, most cost effective and excellent for you, is to ensure that you do use it mindfully, use it efficiently, and use it well for grey water and reuse and recycle it where you can across your home and garden. So again, there are a couple of nuances there, and I agree, Coach. Sounds like your strategy is a good one. So we look forward to seeing more about what you're doing.
I was just thinking, as you were talking there, I was thinking of one disclaimer we could add to water, and that is don't try and talk and drink at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't end so well. Not good for your health if you try to inhale both water and air at the same time. So keep those two separate.
You can drive with it though. Drink and drive with water.
Absolutely.
That's fine.
Absolutely. Nothing tastes better than a bit of clear H2O. Exactly. As we say, good enough to drink, too good to waste.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Exactly. I love that. That's great.
This comment from Peter here, great information, everyone. The convenience of our modern water supplies, which is what you're talking about, Rob, results in us taking the water for granted, taking for granted that, we're hosing the path down with it, or washing a car with it, or brushing the teeth with the water running. Like if that story, what we need is for that story to be amplified further and deeper so that people appreciate everything that you've just explained, everything that Peter's putting up in his comment there. And then I think in that broader context, we can start to think about the fact that privatization of every organization, when you start to talk about the water being a public resource, like a granted thing, like we need to think very carefully about this idea that it gets commodified. You know, here we are seeing water being commodified on our rivers, where people are owning and dealing and trading the water. They don't even have anything to do with the land, and it doesn't, no longer that land has the rights over any water because they got bought and sold. Like all of these things, I think, you know, when I think about Water Night at the nitty gritty level that we're talking about, I love talking about this, but then I think what this is also going to do is build this awareness in this broader community collective responsibility and obligation to keep water in the public consciousness and the public control and the public awareness, so that we make noise, and everything you talk about in providing that certainty comes through knowledge and connection.
Absolutely. It's something that shouldn't be profit. No profit should come from it. At the end of the day, it's about being able to responsibly cover our costs for the long-term operational costs for the community, and nothing more than that, because there's one thing that's for certain: every living thing needs water. So there's nothing that in this world that can survive without it, and that's what the one thing. It doesn't matter who we are, where we are. You know, every other imaginable variation of human being or living organism, the one thing we all need is water. It's the one thing we need access to, and it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be not made a profit from, and it needs to be responsibly managed.
Absolutely. Very well said.
Yeah. So many great words said in this call. I love it. It's brilliant.
I did reflect a little bit on the metering demo, and I was thinking, geez, I wish I had a meter to show people what a typical water meter looks like, because I reckon we read the meters more than anyone else does. I reckon most people never read their water meter, and if they're lucky, unless they have a problem, and then they go, oh God, how do I turn the water off? And then they've got to run around finding the water meter. So rule number one, it's always really important to know where your water meter is and to read it regularly. But one of the areas I think we'll see a lot of change, and we're working on a pilot program at the moment, is about remote metering. And that's where we put a logging device that communicates through the Internet of Things back to our software systems, and we can actually apply a bit of AI over the top of what people are water using. One, we can feed that information back to them on a daily basis via text message or via a web portal, and they can have a look at how much of their water usage. And it'd be really great to see the people who've breached Water Night, because we've done water. But even better from that leakage point, you know, people turn a tap on and they forget to turn it off, and then it's going at 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, we'll know, and we'll be able to tell them before they know. So it's a bit about how we add value to the thing and how we avoid bill shock, because I have dealt with some customers who have had running water in a broken water service for 3 months in between our billing cycles.
Oh my God.
Thousands of dollars of debt. I just really feel for them, because there's no way I could afford a water bill like that, let alone to waste the water and waste the energy and all that goes into it. So it's about how we give back to ensure that our customers have a sustainable water service as well. And I just can't wait for the day where, you know, we don't have to deal with really upset people who are facing a $10,000-$15,000 water bill. We can actually give them a text message, and then if they don't respond by the next day and it's still high, we actually send one of our people around there, knock on the door and say, hey, I think you got a leak. And that'll save them a lot of money, save us a lot of effort and heartache. No one wants to take a call like that, and it'll be fantastic. Not only that, it'll give everyone massive insight into what they actually use, and put it right inside the house, rather than out at the front boundary, usually hidden in the garden behind some rocks where our readers have to dig in for it to find it, brave some spiders and some snakes and all the other things just so that they can read it. So I'm looking forward to that day.
Yeah,
that's great. Great insight.
I might just say, I've just noticed we've had 50 people sign up to Water Night since we started this Facebook Live. So thank you so much to everyone that's on this call. obviously you are all totally convinced by everything we are saying, and you signed up for Water Night to increase your awareness of your water use in your home. So thank you so much. And so we're on record-breaking numbers this year for year 3. So yeah, it's really great news. So yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks Costa. Thanks Rob.
Thanks.
Thanks
Thank
team.
you, Rob. You really wrapped it up with so many great thoughts that were threaded through everyone from right from the very beginning with Kale and Michelle, then Emily and Kiralee and yourself and Kirsty as well, and of course Roxy, Zoe and Chris. There's been such a great and everyone out there, Giovanni, Cecilia, Jeanette, Annie, Julia. Like there's been so many great comments, and people have stuck with us the whole night.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
There's really been some great. Karen up on the sunny coast has been with us the whole time. Streamwatch has joined in and put in some great thoughts that I've been flicking up on the screen. Tyler Howard.
Tyler's comments have been good.
Some great content, and it's so nice. Peter Rourke and young Spencer here from the Sunshine Coast, an incredible advocate for looking after our landscapes. Giovanni, Luca, you've been going off like a frog in a box, buddy, with lots of great comments. And Penelope Milson. To all of you, I'm just dropping a few names here, but it's been great to see such wonderful engagement from everyone here over an hour and a quarter. Any final thoughts before we wrap, Chris and team?
Final thoughts are just thanks so much to everybody in the Water Conservancy team for making this year another fabulous year of Water Night, and thanks to everybody for signing up and participating, and all of our sponsors for getting involved and making it happen. So here's to more years of Water Night to come, and it's growing it to be bigger and better every year.
Love your work, guys. Love your work.
Thank you. Just thanks, echoing that. Thank you to everyone for being involved and making this year very special. And thank you, Costa, as well, for being a brilliant host across all your platforms and everything. And thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Awesomeness.
Okay.
I want to thank all you guys at the Water Conservancy. I mean, you are thinking of us. I think much more thanks needs to go to you. I mean, I sat through as just watching last year, and I actually started thinking about my water more consciously. And I think I'm pretty conscious in terms of sustainability, but I hadn't thought about water in the same way. Yeah. And I run workshops on sustainable living, and water is one of the topics that I cover. And because of the insight I've got from you guys, I can actually go into more depth now, and I hope it gets people thinking. I'm sure it does. But there are things that I never thought about, and some of the things I did I took for granted too. But it's really, really important.
Thank you so much. That's lovely. And awesome. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I hope this has been great for everyone, and to all the new sign-ups and comments and everything. And thank you so much for joining.
Yeah. Just one small thing. I don't know whether we wanted to echo the fact that the winner was drawn for the winner. I don't think we mentioned it in the Facebook.
Yes.
I wonder whether we needed to just remember who that person is.
Sure. So yes. So we announced it on the Instagram Live and posted it. So hopefully she knows already, but it's the lovely Sharon Williams. Won our major giveaway. So thanks again to our sponsors, Bosch, Socotab and Air Garden, for providing such incredible water efficient prizes, and to the lovely Sharon for her very creative water saving hack for winning the prize. So hopefully Sharon's listening, or she knows already. But good reminder.
Awesome. I would have loved her dishwasher. I was so keen.
I wanted the Air Garden.
Yeah, you wanted the Air Garden.
I wanted the Air Garden so bad.
I wanted the Socotab.
I don't do anything like that.
I know. I got to hit.
It's always next year.
Yeah. Always this way.
Bring it home, Rob. Bring it home.
I know what's getting you guys for Christmas.
They've been drooling over it.
Yes, please,
Yeah,
Chris.
you do. Yeah, I'd be very happy with that. Maybe one of those just small ones would be awesome.
I want the big one.
Yeah, or the Bosch one as well that was part of the prize is also one of their more water efficient ones as well. And the Air Garden was
very water efficient.
almost the top of the range Air Garden, I think, wasn't it, Rock? So very quality prizes. And the previous week we'd also run a promotion with our prize partner. I think they're a sponsor as well, aren't they? Water Ups, who had donated the product as well and were a sponsor as well. So they're another one of the fantastic whip and bed crew. Very awesome. Very awesome. So we're very grateful to them too.
All right. Well, I will, if there's no further comments, I will officially call the Water Night live broadcasts for 2022 officially turn it. I'll just turn the tap on the broadcasts.
Yeah.
I was hoping you could speak for another 40 minutes, and that way I'm guaranteed it.
Oh, you don't have to worry.
We have documentaries on our website, Rob, that you can watch.
40 minutes worth. I'm heading straight over there. I hope everyone else is too.
Yeah. Well, test your knowledge with the Instagram filter. That's on Instagram as well while you're here or while you were there. Give that a go.
Awesome. Thanks, Costa.
I'll just end the live here, everyone, if you want to hang for a
everyone.
sec. And thanks for all the viewers. Thank you all for being a part of Water Night 2022. What a treat to have you all here, and I look forward to having a scroll through the comments and doubling down and value adding to them. So on behalf of everyone, thanks for joining us.
Bye.
There we go. I think it's almost
No, it's not ended.
hasn't quite